you've been walking out of interviews thinking, that went fine, I think, but then you get the rejection or you get ghosted and you're left wondering, what happened? What could I even work on? What could I adjust? And when you ask, you get nothing or you get really vague answers that don't actually help you in the next interview. If you've experienced that or if you're afraid of that happening, this episode is for you. And you're probably not doing interviews wrong. And it's probably not that you're unprepared. I don't think I've met a single mid-career professional who doesn't prepare for interviews. But the problem is that interviews don't fail very loudly at this stage of the game. Like you just have too much experience to just bomb an interview entirely. You're not in your early 20s anymore where you're going to say something maybe a bit crazy. You're experienced. You know how to you show up as a professional. Instead, interviews stall a little more quietly, and that quiet uncertainty is one of the most draining parts of job search because you get all the way to the finish line. You're so excited. You get this opportunity to finally sit in front of somebody and explain, all your value and what you can bring to the table. And then it's just so anticlimactic of an end. It didn't work, but you don't know why. It's like tripping at the finish line, but you're not sure what caused you to trip. Was it a rock? Was it your shoes? Was it uneven pavement? Who knows? How can you fix that moving forward? And the pattern I see over and over again with mid-career folks is that, there's no big crash and burn. There's no obvious mistakes. There's just that ambiguity. You know your experience. You prepared seriously. You answered all the questions, but still you walk out of the experience thinking, I'm not sure that that landed the way it needed to. I'm not really sure what I need to change or what big adjustments need to happen. And that feeling gets a lot heavier than rejection because rejection at least gives you closure. Ambiguity gives you homework with no answer key. And most interview prep advice is built on the assumption that clarity comes after the interview, that somebody will eventually tell you what worked, what didn't, what to do next time. But hiring just doesn't work like that anymore. Interviewers are overwhelmed with the amount of incoming applications in this market. And so they don't have a lot of time to spend on all the follow-up that you might have seen 5, 10, 15 years ago. Interviewers are comparing candidates. They don't have time to coach them. Feedback is inconsistent, filtered, really generic, or just non-existent. And ghosting after an interview has unfortunately become common. 90% of interviewers have actually reported that they've been ghosted after an interview, which seems crazy to me. And I just don't think that that used to happen. And we're not expecting it when it's been a while since we've been interviewing. But it's happening. It's not happening all the time, but it is happening. And it has nothing to do with you. You didn't do anything wrong. Again, it's just the environment that we're sort of all sitting in with recruiters and hiring managers just being bombarded with applicants and having to work under a whole lot of pressure, like kind of too much work, not enough people to really do what is the right thing at the end of the day. And it's not the recruiter's fault, not the hiring manager's fault. It's just kind of a product of the environment. But people keep preparing the same way and hoping that someone will come along and explain something, right? Explain what's going wrong, explain what they could do better and improve for the next interview rounds that they have. It's not a motivation issue, it's a sequence problem. Self-led professionals don't wait for feedback after interviews. They move feedback before the interview deliberately. This week, I shared the same three-step process that I use with clients, and I want to walk through it here because I think that if you think about these three steps, you could really change the game for yourself walking into an interview. That moment where you're like, man, I wish someone would give me some feedback, you can go get that on your own ahead of time. So let's talk about what those three steps are. The first one is to streamline. I want you to clarify without pressure here. This is where you get really clear on how you intend to answer questions and explain your experience. Not perfectly, not impressively, just clearly. Um, this is where you write down your answers. A lot of people will maybe write a couple bullet points or just sort of skip this step altogether and jump straight to like practicing. But the best preparation is when you write it down. And take a page out of like speech preparation. A good speech is fully written out prior to, and then you practice with bullet points, and then eventually you drop those off so that you can just give the speech itself. But first and foremost, you've got to write down how things will land without any pressure of an actual environment going on. So this isn't about memorization. This is really just about alignment. You're making sure that the story you think you want to tell and the story you think you're telling is actually the one coming out. Step two is to pressure test. So this is exposure without correction. This is the second step where people get a little uncomfortable. So this is you taking what you have written down and you've streamlined on paper and delivering it straight through. No notes, no restarts, no mid-sentence apologies. Okay, sorry, let me go back and fix that. This isn't you fixing anything yet. This is just about you walking through how you would answer the question. So you can sit down with yourself and record yourself on your phone and say, hey, I'm going to answer the question. Tell me about yourself. And then just give the answer that you want to give there. And do that with a few common questions that you might expect for the specific role that you're targeting or for the specific stories that you've practiced. Say them out loud, record it, and listen to yourself doing it. This is all about observation, not improvement. So I want you to notice, where does clarity drop? Where do the outcomes maybe come too late and get buried? Where do strong decisions that you make sound tentative, right? What's the language that you're using? A lot of people never do this, and they sort of just hope that they're getting this right, and then wonder why things feel just sort of a bit inconclusive in the end. But actually saying it out loud, recording yourself doing it, helps you practice in a way that kind of brings the stories that you're putting together to life. Then the third step that I really recommend, and this one's the game changer. I call it game speed, but it's just a mock interview. So this is real conditions, real signal. So only after you've seen how you write everything down and how you say things out loud, then I want you to sit down with a mock interview. This is best done with someone else. You can do it in a recording. But it's a little bit trickier. So grab a friend, treat them to a coffee or a beer or whatever, drink of choice, a snack, whatever they might like, and have them ask you questions and you answer it. You want the feel of a real interview. You want to show up like you're not exactly sure what questions are going on. So unseen questions, full interview flow, opening and closing included with questions. It's not really about competence or your intelligence or getting everything perfect. This is really about making those decisions under pressure. So what I suggest is going to ChatGPT or your AI of choice, plugging in the job description or plugging in like your target role and asking it to give you the top 10 most likely interview questions. Don't read them, print them out, and give them to that friend, that accountability buddy that you're going to use to help you with this, and have them ask you the question. So it's better if they are sight unseen, where you kind of don't know what to expect. Run through them. This is the phase that really helps the interview stop feeling mysterious and gets you to no longer guess how you're coming across. You know what it feels like, you know where you're tripping up. And again, I would record this personally because you can go back and listen to it and figure out how you want to adjust and where you need to practice a bit. So early in career, interviews are a lot more forgiving, right? Like you don't have a ton of experience. People don't have super high expectations of you because you're new, you're starting out, right? Potential carries a lot of weight. Learning curves are absolutely expected. But at mid-career, interviews are really about judgment. Can you prioritize clearly? Can you communicate decisions under pressure? Can you make complex experience usable and tangible for other people? And so that's why fine interviews stop being enough. And if you think about how competitive this market is, fine's not cutting it. You've got to really show up polished and really show up like the experienced person that you are. And so waiting for feedback becomes really expensive. It's why you got to go out and get it beforehand. So one of the most common things I hear after doing this work isn't excitement necessarily. It's relief. It's not, oh, I nailed it. It's, oh my gosh, I finally know like what to do, what direction to have, how I sound. I just couldn't feel more prepared really at the end of the day. And that shift changes everything. It changes the energy of how you show up, the confidence, and interviews stop feeling like experiments between one and the other, and they start just feeling like execution. So, um, if you enjoyed this, go check out my Substack posts from this week. They're linked in the show notes, and you can read through a little more details. You can listen to a story that I've had about a customer, and really kind of dive that level deeper if this is something that is important to you or you're expecting or going through the interview process right now. This isn't no hype, just all the information you might need. And if your interviews have been landing as fine, but not decisive, um, usually more thinking stops helping here. This is where you want to go out and do something, right? Really get through the practical preparation that you need to do. So I've got two things that might help you. One is every month I run a webinar. It is called the three-part interview prep system for mid-career professionals, and it walks you through what to prepare and how to do that. It is an hour-long webinar, so really quick kind of lunch and learn. It's next Thursday at noon Eastern time. Link is below that you can go register for that. And if you're at the point where you know you want to sit down with somebody, do some mock interviews, I offer those as well. So I'll link that below as well. So I do that with people all the time where we sit down, go through that mock interview experience. I give them all the feedback that you should be getting from other people, but again, it just sort of doesn't happen because of where the market is and how busy everyone is. So if you want that feedback, if you want to know what do I need to be doing differently, uh, come join me. I have interviewed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in my life, and I know really what lands and how to help you adjust that. So you can check that out too if that's the phase that you're in. Just hoping that you get a clearer way to prepare for interviews that really reflect the level of experience that you have. If this helped put some words to something you've been sensing, but you couldn't quite figure it out, you're not behind. It's just that you're ready for a new way of preparing. And hopefully I can help you do that. And hopefully this helped you kind of take a step in the right direction. So for now, and as always, put down the popcorn and get in the game.